Hey, it's time for TV Skywriter.
Marie, your host. I do TV Skywriter. That's where I introduce you to people that I think you need to know. So we're going to have a local focus today. Local for me being Durham, North Carolina, because after all, I publish the Durham Skywriter, Durham, North Carolina's online community paper. And my guest today is Don Baker. We didn't meet at WNCU, but we were both on WNCU, but at different times, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Hi, Pat.
Hey there. Tell me just a little bit, because you were telling me yesterday that you also took part in the first, how did you put it, the first public Black...
Oh, yeah. North Carolina has a great broadcast history because the first education radio station licensed to an African-American institution was here in North Carolina. It was in Raleigh. That was WSHA.
Oh, Shaw University.
Shaw University had the very first radio station. Subsequent to that, some years later, the largest public radio station in the country, Sound and Print United, broadcasting out of Warrenton, North Carolina, came online. As a matter of fact, prior to that, Pat, I'm sorry, prior to that, it was 1968. 1968, Shaw University came online with WSHA. In 1972, Wave Africa came on the air, which was created by some students from North Carolina College then, which eventually became North Carolina Central University. But it was the first Black public radio station.
That's awesome, in the whole country.
Right here in Durham, North Carolina, in Durham. That broadcast happened for, I think, about 5 years until the early 70s, when WAFR the community radio workshop went silent. About 30 days after Wave Africa went silent, then Sound and Print United came on the air, and at the time that was at 100,000 watts.
Whoa.
Was the largest African American. That was the largest station, public radio station licensed to an African American community.
Okay.
That was Valeria Lee and Jim Lee. That was their dream that they put together when they were living in Warrenton in the country.
Wait a minute. Are they related to Mark Lee?
Yes, those are Mark Lee's parents.
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
Yeah. And see, they lived near Soul City.
I've heard of that.
You know, Soul City,
I've heard
North
of that.
Carolina. Yes, that's a whole nother piece of history, of North Carolina history. Soul City was started as an economic development project. Floyd McKissick started Soul City.
Wow.
And Soul City, the city limits still exist. But anyway, that's a long response to a very
obviously
short
we need
question.
to have you back. And for those who are wondering why I said Mark Lee, I know Mark Lee because I met him at WNCU when I was there. Now he's with WCOM. And his dad, Jim Lee, is a fabulous, well-known artist in this area. So, cool. But right now we're talking about how you are somehow, you can explain how, reconnecting alumni with their schools, with their HBCUs.
Well, it comes under a simple mantra or umbrella, which is applicable to all schools. My school, my legacy.
Okay.
Okay. What we do for our school after we graduate, in some cases while we're there, but how uh, the the birth of education for each of us, or rebirth, really comes through our college experience. We have relationships that last our lifetime. College roommates, people we meet on campus. My sister told me when I was on my way to college as a freshman, she said, "Look, you are going to meet every kind of person imaginable. Some people who have to study all the time, some people who never study, some people who do just really not too good things, some people who are great, and you will meet people who you will know and engage with for the rest of your life." And that turned out to be true. So that becomes your legacy. My school, my legacy. I had the opportunity to go away and come back and work on the radio station on WNCU, to actually apply for a license and see that come through and see the station built, and so that becomes part of my legacy.
Now, I do want to jump in and say we're talking about North Carolina Central University, which is historic, I guess you could say HBCU, historic Black, HBCU, Black College University, historic Black colleges and universities.
Historically Black colleges and universities.
So that's what we're talking. And the station still exists, 90.7 FM, jazz, and specialty shows like the funk show. Both our friend Howard Burchett has a great show called The Funk Show. You need to check it out if you're into the funk. And also other wonderful shows.
So the station is a 45,000 watt station, broadcasting in the Piedmont area of North Carolina, reaching 9 counties and roughly 900,000 people.
Okay. And also it's NPR. It's a local NPR as well.
Yes, it is.
Nice. So I think Shaw. Yeah. Oh wait, Shaw no longer has a station, right?
Shaw University was sold. It was sold to a religious network.
But we still have. Have WUNC, emanates from Chapel Hill, and also Durham.
Yes.
Okay. So my school, correct. My legacy. How are you? I mean, what is that?
Well, that is one's legacy. Once you're educated, you graduate and you go out in the world and you represent yourself. You also represent your university. And that's why people give back to the university, because they see the legacy of the institution, but also the legacy that's created by the individual for oneself. What you do in life. It's a great way to start. To some degree, I believe that people should, particularly young men, should probably go to the service first.
Really?
And then come back. Yeah, come back to college. Then go to college, because you're much more focused. You get to see the world a little bit,
I'm not
that's
gonna.
My opinion. Yeah. I'm just throwing in.
It worked for my dad, but in today's times, they send you overseas and then you get shot at immediately. So I'm not sure if that's well.
During my period, it was Vietnam. Go over there and get shot up. There were several high school high school mates that left school and went over to Vietnam, came back with lost limbs.
Yeah,
and psychological
yeah,
problems.
I'm not going to give my opinion. I think that's a very important decision that must be made from family to family. So
Yes,
let's move on.
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
So tell us about what you're doing like this is going to be a really huge weekend for you. And I'd like to hear about it.
Well, we have an online jewelry store, CJB Jewelry, and we focus on jewelry for institutions. We're currently in 15 markets. The markets are represented by the institutions that we are serving, from Alcorn State to Atlanta, Clark, Atlanta, and Morehouse, in Georgia, also Albany State, and of course, to summarize it, it's we've identified four conferences. We're currently serving 15 schools within those four conferences, and again, we developed the umbrella, the concept of my school, my legacy. Our jewelry reflects the legacy of the institution. We wear T-shirts and sweatshirts
with the school's names on them.
Yes, the acronym for the school is on it. So North Carolina Central University is NCCU, for example, or A&T. We have an A&T bracelet that does A&T, NCA, and ampersand T.
Nice.
And we're developing other products in the process, but that's what we have, and we're located at CJB Jewelry, CJB Jewelry.
What intrigues me is that you were telling me over the phone that you're going to have street teams. I've heard of street teams before, and usually that's when you have young people creating or expanding your market. Is that what you're doing as well?
Absolutely. That's a great description. We have promotional cards that we will be distributing during the weekend, distributing at various homecoming activities. And because CJB Jewelry is an online jewelry store, we don't have a
brick and mortar.
Brick and mortar. Thank you. It's online, so this promotion helps to drive people to our website, where we can provide quality services with accessories.
I like that idea because, as you know, Toys R Us just closed throughout the country, and for those of us who make toys and dreamed of having our toys at Toys R Us, it's a heartbreaking thing to see. That's like, oh no, that's where I wanted to sell all my toys and games. But the way you're going, the direct route, where you actually have people with their feet on the ground, so to speak, and encouraging people to go to your website, I like that idea. I like that a lot. And that means you don't have to worry about if Belk or some other store that sells jewelry going out of business or not accepting your products. Your customers are going directly to you. And I think that's probably the way of the future, right?
It is. I mean, clearly with Amazon being a primary example, the amount of purchase activities that are happening online. The malls are still crowded during the holidays, but it's a hard sale the rest of the year.
Yeah, they look forward to Black Friday and Black Monday. Is that what it's called? Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I was told that they're not making, some stores aren't making a profit until the very end of the year.
Yeah.
And I think you can control it better online. And actually, I mean, what do you think? Do you see in your business that your sales are steady and constant, or do you also rely on the holiday season?
Well, our products are seasonal. We have in some cases, um, uh, and yeah, I would say mostly seasonal because uh, people buy according to what's happening during the year. So football season is a sale season. Graduation is we have a new graduation product coming out. A bracelet with a cap and tassel.
And that's twice a year actually. Yeah, because some schools have winter graduations.
That's right. Winter graduation and then graduation in April, May, and I guess June too. So there's basketball seasons, football season, and opportunities to provide accessories during those periods.
Okay, so give us that website again, and then we can sign off.
Okay. The website is cjbjewelry.com.
Excellent. And even if you're not looking for jewelry from your school, I still think it's a good idea to check out the website and think about if you're making items as I do, or whatever business you're in, it would be a good idea to just take a peek at what Don's doing, because I think this is the way of the future. I was told, or the present for a lot of young people, I was told that when I was crying about Toys R Us, I was reading an article that said, actually, nowadays, the new shoppers are wanting to shop with people that they know, or people whose stories they enjoy reading about or learning about. And that's where this online thing can really, really turn out to be quite lucrative if you're able to make that connection with people. Yeah. So
you're right.
So CJB,
C for Christopher C, Jamal for J, Baker for B, Jewelry at jewelry.com, cjbjewelry.com.
Okay, Don. So I think that's it. I really enjoyed having you on the show. Okay, folks, be sure to check out the website and be sure to think about what steps you're going to take if you're an entrepreneur, or especially if you're a young person and you're trying to figure out how to get out there. A lot of people are still thinking, I've got to open a storefront. And for some people, that might be true. There are some items that you really do have to. I mean, if you want to open like a fresh fruit market, yeah, you're going to need a brick and mortar, pretty much. Although,
well, Amazon just.
I know you're going to say that, because last time I was in Walmart, the greeter told me that they're actually delivering. No, they set aside the groceries that you order online, and I think they're going to start delivering them as well.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I think that's incredible. So thanks again, Don, for being on the show. And folks, you know what to do. You have a beautiful day. And don't forget to read Durham, North Carolina's online community paper, the Durham Skywriter, at durhamskywriter.com. That's the end of this broadcast, and you have a beautiful day.